Hello. We're going to start talking about sequencing reflections and translations. What we're going to look at is a combination of whether reflecting or translating matters, how to undo things, and we're going to base it all on figure A. Now, the textbook here has actually helped us out because they've provided the results, and we can just make comparisons and look at them as we show you with a transparency and so on. So it says figure A was translated along vector BA. So if I go down this vector, that's the result, and it lines up. And the question is, describe the translation that would map figure A back onto itself. So I have to go back. If you can see, if you're looking over here, you can kind of see if I start here, how do I get back? Well, I go in the reverse order. To map figure A to its original position, we would reverse our vector. So, what does that mean? Translate from A to B along the vector instead. And before we started here, it was B to A. Now I'm going from A to B. Figure A was reflected across the line L, resulting in the reflection. Describe the sequence of reflections that would map figure A back onto its original position. So if I kind of go, let me just give myself a line here. If I were to reflect over that line, you can see it matches up exactly. Well, if I want to go back, I have to take that figure and reflect it back over the line. And so a reflection of, it says reflection of figure A, so I'm just going to rename it reflection figure A over, well, what line did I reflect it over? Well, I kind of kept it right on line L, so I would reflect it over line L, and that would give me what I want. Over line L would map the figure back onto the original. Okay, so that is kind of an important result. Basically, if I want to translate back to its original, I reverse the vector, and if I want to go back to the original with a reflection, I just flip it over the same exact line, and it goes back and forth between the image and pre-image. Okay. The last question says, can translating BA of the figure A onto a transformation of DC undo? So I'll go back through this. If I translate over BA, will that undo going on a vector DC? And hopefully you can see that these have no relation to each other. The distance nor the direction are inverses. So that's sort of the answer to that question. It cannot, since vectors are not opposite in direction nor equal in distance. So the two things that make up a vector, direction and distance, would have to be reversed, but these do not reverse each other, nor are they equal. So vector BA is approximately 3.2 centimeters long, while vector DC is approximately 3.5 centimeters. And so they do not have a similar length nor direction, and therefore they will not undo each other. If we flip this over, okay, the last thing they want us to do is think about a combination of reflection and a translation. Okay, so this is another thing that would work best with transparency. Okay, and while I'm getting this, it says let there be a translation along vector AB and reflection over L. So we got to go from A to B. So that's where I start. And if I reflect this over the line, I'll notice that my shape is way over here. So let me just kind of sketch it in where it is. Okay, we're going to label that S prime. And then it says let there be a translation along the vector and a reflection across line L. Use the transparency to perform the following sequence. I want to reflect it first, and then I'm going to translate. So if I kind of honor what they've asked for here, I'll erase this dot. And if I want to reflect, we just saw in the previous one, what I have to do is reflect over a line. So we need this line to match up with itself again, which it does. And now I need to translate along the vector AB. So I'm going to start here at A and go down to B. So what's going to happen is this figure gets shifted this way. And hopefully what you can see is that the two shapes are not lying on top of each other at all. They're not even anywhere near each other. And so that's a big takeaway. And so unlike the rotations, where if you have the same point, it stays the same, you want to notice the order with which we apply the transformations makes a difference in the outcome of the image. Okay, so that becomes huge. So what this is doing is this is building up your capacity to understand how sequencing transformations, whether they be reflections, rotations, translations, impacts the final image that we have. Please summarize, and thank you for your time.